Marks, and it sounded like Andre Crouch in a gumbo. He called it a gospel gumbo. And I think that's what it is. I'm a mixture of a lot of people. Bishop Jakes is my pastor. I live in Texas now. And he says all the time, he's awesome. He's phenomenal. He says all the time, if you see a turtle on a fence, he didn't get there by himself. Somebody had to put him there. And my music, I can't take credit for it. Richard Smallwood was an influence. Thomas Whitfield was an influence. In my opinion, and Donald Lawrence says the same thing, I think the 80s was the greatest era for gospel music.
Yes.
Because you had everybody out there at the same time. So my sound is a mixture of a lot of things, and it's a mixture of gifting. God has gifted me to write. That's a gift from God. But I also have education. So I've studied music. I know all styles of music. And then to put an anointing on top of it is what makes the difference.
Amen. And your music is anointed.
Thank
Let's
you.
talk about you writing,
Mhm.
because your writing skills are amazing. You have written songs that touch the heart, like instantly. For Every Mountain, right? Sanctuary, God, Great God. All of
God
these
Blocked It.
songs, God Blocked It. All these. My favorite, I don't know if you all have heard, but my favorite that literally takes me to my knees is Why Not Trust God Again. I don't know what was going on with you when you wrote that song, but that song is amazing. All of your music is amazing. So how do you get that? How do
You know the phenomenal thing, and I've never said this in an interview, so you're the first. When I had the blessed opportunity, I'm from Hartford, Connecticut. Yes, they have black people in Connecticut. And we lived in the hood. You know, my mother was a single mother. You know, my great-grandmother raised me. She was 65 when I was born. She lived to be 100 years old. But, so I was raised in a very, very impoverished situation. I remember going to the store with my mother and pulling out food stamps. I remember that. But in the irony about God, he also allowed me to get into a special program in Connecticut where I took a bus. I would have to take the bus for over an hour to go to school, to the most affluent community on the East Coast. Every single day I drove by mansions and estates. And all of my classmates were white. There were three black people in my school for 12 years. So I was able to expose myself to something different. And this is the part I've never told. When I was a senior in high school, one of my professors was a journalist in my English class. And he said, you know what, you should be a writer. I said, really? A writer? I want to be a musician. He said, but you should contemplate writing. My mother was like, yep, study writing. You need something to fall back on. You already know music. Why are you going to study music? You better get you something, the mother. But isn't God so amazing? Because I ended up being a musician that writes. Everything he does, he has a plan. So that's, I believe, one of the reasons why my writing is so impactful, because God gifted me also to be able to write the lyrics. Like in the song like Why Not Trust God Again, the lyrics, the story, I tell stories with music.